Previously on Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. You're late, Makoto! We've all been waiting for you! I bet you were afraid you would be discovered as the murderer you are.
Listen to me!
Let's not jump to conclusions just yet. Save that for the class trial. There we can all reveal the details of Makoto's crime. Wow.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
No
And
pressure.
The killer really is one of us, right?
Of course.
Okay then. Everyone, close your eyes. And whoever did it, raise your hand.
Don't be a goddamn idiot. Why the hell would they raise their hand?
Sayaka.
No,
Because Aoi was in the dining room.
Okay, wait.
Yep.
Hold
That's
on.
like her new favorite
I
place.
didn't take the knife from the kitchen.
Hallie and Sakura were in the
You
dining
said
room.
you're not
Yeah.
the killer,
Yes.
right? Go ahead and say it all you want.
I mean, at least he
Actually,
apologized,
there is
but
one
damn.
other possibility. Right, Hina?
Oh, yeah, that's true. One other person did come to the dining hall while we were there.
Why didn't you say so in the first place?
Well, because they're not here anymore.
Hold on. It's still too early to decide conclusively that Makoto is the killer, wouldn't you say?
Here we go.
Because you see, if the room did belong to the killer, then they did something most bewildering.
Yeah, she already
And
knows.
until we unravel that little mystery, you simply can't declare that he's the killer.
Bewildering? What the hell are you talking about?
I know.
Something was missing from the scene of the crime that by all rights should have been there.
She's talking about the hair.
Yes, you're gonna have to
You know
hang
what
man
I'm
for it.
talking about, don't you?
Alrighty.
The first Hangman's Gambit is about to begin. Would you like to hear more?
Let's go. Oop, there we go.
As things advance further in a class trial, the Hangman's Gambit will eventually take place. The point of this is to reveal an important phrase related to the incident in question. You'll have to deduce the phrase from the letters flying around, and the letters already known. Complete the phrase by shooting down the flying letters in the right order. Use the mouse to aim, then press the left mouse button to shoot the desired letters. If you shoot down the wrong letter, you'll suffer damage to your influence gauge.
I could see this screwing me over a little bit in the future.
It may. There's some pretty weird ones, maybe due to translation or terms that aren't used anymore.
Yeah, there's one in particular that I know about that I'm not looking forward to doing.
I was probably referring to that one, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
If this gauge reaches 0 or if you run out of time, you fail.
Fair enough.
Well then, good luck and have fun.
Okay. Something that should have been at the scene but wasn't. That must be... That must be the crucial point. If we can just figure out what that something is.
At least this one's not too terrible.
Yeah, no, this one's fine. I kind of immediately gave it away.
Yep. And you just need to find 2 letters.
We got that, and then we've got the R. Wait.
You have to hit them a few times sometimes.
Oh.
Now I understand.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's right. There wasn't a single hair on the floor.
I kind of gave it away before.
You did, but it's fine.
The culprit removed some evidence?
Yes.
We did do this
And if I were the
trial
culprit,
already.
why would
I mean,
need to
yeah.
get rid of all the hair in my own room?
during our
It
testing.
wouldn't be unusual at all to find
This
my
is
hair
the
at the crime
end of this
scene
trial is as
if the
far as I
crime
got
scene
though.
is in
So
my room.
from this point on, it'll be completely blind.
The reason all
Or from
the
that
hair
point
was
on, I guess.
gone was to remove any trace that Sayaka had ever been there.
Well,
That
for
makes
you
sense,
anyway.
does it not?
Yeah.
No. If that were the case, they would have had to do something about the body itself, not just her hair.
Yes, very true, very true.
Okay, then why wasn't there any hair on the ground?
The killer got rid of it all, of course, to remove any trace that they had ever been there.
Wait, then that means...
Precisely. It's simply beyond reason to believe that the room's owner and the killer are one and the
Now,
same.
why would they do that? Did they have a very unique hair color by chance?
Then Makoto
Yeah, right?
isn't the culprit?
Are you sure we can decide something so important based solely on the absence of some hair?
Yes.
No. There are other reasons that prove why Makoto couldn't have done it.
That's a big one though.
I would like to hear these reasons.
Do you
Stick up for
remember
him,
anything
Kyoko.
remarkable about the bathroom at the scene? Sayaka was attacked in the main room first, then fled into the bathroom, right?
Yeah, then they ran after her, got into the bathroom, and stabbed her.
And how did the killer get into the bathroom? Did they have any trouble with it?
What do you mean?
It's fairly certain that the killer had some trouble getting into the bathroom. There was clear evidence left behind. Do you remember, Makoto?
Damn Skippy.
I do.
I'd remember someone messing with stuff. The killer struggled getting into the bathroom. And the evidence that proves it is the object
Uses
the
the
killer
right
broke.
evidence.
Alrighty. We are looking for
Not that. Next
the
one.
bathroom
That's the door frame.
door frame. Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the
That's
doorknob.
the doorknob.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I feel like if somebody came into my place and fucked with my doorknob, I'd remember that. I wouldn't
You
be
would think
thrilled about
so.
it. You would
Evidence
notice,
that the
you know?
killer had trouble getting into the bathroom. You're talking about the doorknob, right?
Huh? The doorknob? What doorknob?
The doorknob for my bathroom. It was completely broken. See how the top part was unscrewed? And the doorknob's about ready to fall off?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, true. But what does it mean?
In trying to bypass the lock, they ended up nearly removing the entire doorknob. This is another most bewildering act for the room's owner. It proves Makoto is beyond suspicion.
Yeah, why would you
So
do that
what?
to your
You're
own
saying he wouldn't
doorknob?
break the door in his own room?
No, to a doorknob that did not have a lock.
But if the only choice you have is to
Also
break
that.
it, you break it. There's nothing bewildering about it.
You still don't see? Okay then. Let's take another look at how the incident unfolded. Hopefully that will help you understand.
Kyoko said it was a bewildering act. I mean, she's not wrong. I almost didn't notice it at first, but is that the key point here?
Not at all, or absolutely. Do the thing. Right. There's a bit more
You're
to
good.
learn about non-stop debate. Would you like to hear more?
Sure. Just for the sake of anybody potentially using this as a guide. Not sure why you
Yeah.
would, but if you are, there you go.
From here on out, the number of weak spots will start going up. But no matter how many weak spots, there's essentially only one lie or contradiction in that debate. What I'm trying to say is, not all weak spots you see are necessarily false.
Right. They gotta throw a spanner into the works, as they say.
Use a truth bullet on the wrong one, and not only will you fail to refute what they said, but you'll also lower your trust with everyone, and your influence gauge will take damage. Now, this is important, because if your influence gauge reaches 0, you fail. You'll have to rely on your own logic to determine which weak spots are actually lies or contradictions.
We got this.
Well then, good luck and have fun.
Alrighty.
Bathroom door frame.
Okay.
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room. She then fled into the bathroom.
That's right.
Then the killer ran after her.
Mm-hmm.
And they got into the bathroom.
Correct.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door, because Sayaka had locked it.
And finally,
That was the one, I think.
Sayaka cornered.
And to finish the job, they stabbed her with the kitchen knife.
It was you, wasn't it, Makoto? Admit it. We already know the answer.
Yeah, no, it was the one. Yeah, I know which one. It's not because the door was locked. No, there's a different reason entirely.
The incident took place in Makoto's room.
It was...
Sayaka was first, she then fled into the...
Then the killer ran after, and they got into the bathroom.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door, because Sayaka had locked it.
No.
Nailed it.
The reason my bathroom didn't open wasn't because it was locked. After all, the girls' rooms are the only ones with locking bathrooms, right?
Yes, now that you mention it, that is true.
Then why didn't your bathroom door open?
Because it was stuck.
Huh? What are you talking about?
My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right. Monokuma over there can testify to that.
Yup, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But to have such a cruddy door, that's not lucky at all.
So the reason the door didn't
Arguably it
open was
is,
just
because it has
it
now
was stuck.
determined that... it's proving to
But the
be
killer didn't
his
know
saving
that
grace,
and assumed it
technically,
was
kind
locked.
of.
So they tore
It
apart the doorknob
certainly
to
is.
get in.
It's kind of both.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked in the first place?
Ooh,
Everyone
ooh,
should have
I know.
known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
Sorry, I'm
Good for
excited.
you.
The killer could easily make that mistake, thanks to one important detail about the scene of the crime.
Alrighty. The killer was convinced the bathroom door was locked. So they didn't know that the door actually couldn't be locked. In other words, the important detail about the scene of the crime that they didn't know was...
The crime took place in Sayaka's room. The crime took place in my room.
Boom.
The killer must not have realized that it was my room.
What? Are you saying the culprit didn't even
I
know
wonder
where he
how.
was? That's inconceivable.
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Say
We
what?
have evidence.
Well, to be
Anyone
more
could have seen
specific,
this detail is the thing.
what
Like,
the
that's why I'm like,
killer
how does
didn't
nobody know
was
this?
that Makoto and Sayaka
Yeah.
had switched rooms. Which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom. If Sayaka had been in her own room, then
Then there would have been a lock on the door, and they would have had to break through.
Correct.
So they had no idea how unnecessary their actions were.
Also
ultimately,
correct.
we can't know if it came open by force or simply by accident. But the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door open.
Regardless, it was a pointless act. Wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked is...
Definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening, right?
That is a definite possibility.
So the killer would have to be someone who didn't know they'd switched rooms?
Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
There we go. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Okay, then who did do it?
Yeah,
I'm
believe
sorry,
Makoto.
but I give up. Quit without saving.
But
Sir,
what happens if we can't decide on who we think did it?
Well,
But you all
why
died.
don't we just vote right now? Majority rules.
that's a real bad
Majority
idea
rules?
considering your lives
You
on,
really
are
think
on the
that's a
line.
good idea?
No.
Yeah, our necks are on the line here. Someone
There we go.
seriously needs to do something.
Why am I
For
everybody?
serious.
He said something smart.
Does no one have
Right?
any other thoughts or questions? It does not matter how trivial they may seem. Oh, as a matter of fact, I do have one question. Oh, you don't
Rude.
ever sound so disappointed.
It's fine, it's fine. Just ask your question.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Uh,
so
Damn it.
well,
Give me
I was
1
just
second.
wondering, how did the culprit get into Makoto's room in the first place?
Yes. How did the killer get inside?
Maybe Sayaka just dropped the key somewhere and the culprit picked it up. That's possible, right?
I don't think so. That seems way too convenient.
I was gonna say possible, but not
Then-
likely.
Maybe someone picked the lock?
Negative! If you remember, Monokuma made it quite clear that the locks are all unpickable.
And the key was in the
Fine.
room, so
How
it
about
probably
this?
didn't happen.
The
Yeah.
killer got in the easy way. They could have knocked and said they wanted to talk or something, and Miss Maizono just let him in.
No, that can't be it either.
Oh, trying to argue against me? Sounds like someone doesn't know his place.
Sir,
So, why exactly can't that be it?
I mean, that's a good question, but like, bro. Okay. Because oh. It's hard to tell when it goes off auto in this, during trials. It's weird. Okay, that's the answer right there. I didn't read that before. How do we go back and look at... Well, why exactly can't that be it? Because she asked me, to do something in particular because of how frightened she was. That's the answer right there.
There we go.
There's no way Sayaka let someone in the room because... Alright. What do we got? We got the Monokuma file, evidence of struggle, the sword.
Switching rooms. That's probably the one you want, I think.
Right, because she wanted to be safe. Why would she want to... Let's do it.
I got it!
Let's do it.
Because Sayaka was already scared, remember? That's why she asked me to switch rooms in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. you. The same goes for you, Sayaka. No matter who it is, don't open your door for anyone.
Even if I'm sure it's you, I absolutely won't open it. Otherwise, what's the point of even touching?
There
Knowing
it
what
is.
she's been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
What if her being scared was a lie?
Huh?
She played you like a
What
fiddle,
the hell
buddy.
is that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
Why would she lie about something like that?
I know you don't want to
Use you?
consider it, but look at this and tell me. Can you still deny the possibility?
You've been played, bud. Oh, hello.
How come you didn't show us that evidence sooner, Kyoko?
Right? I'm trying to, like, read that note. Because, like, that's legible writing. It's a little bit...
It'll read it and...
Oh, I know. I was just trying to see if I could read the actual thing, because that's a thing I like to do sometimes.
Yes.
And it's literally written out right here anyway. So, anyways, there's something I want to talk to you about. Just us two. In 5 minutes, come see me in my room. Check the nameplates to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay?
I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded in the top sheet with a pencil. And these are the words that appeared.
Oh man! I've totally seen people do that on detective shows.
That is a neat trick.
When you write, it can leave an imprint. Sketch over the next sheet of paper, and you can see the words.
I used to press
When I saw
down
that,
when
I was
writing
like,
so hard that
"Holy
you could read
crap,
it like
I
Braille.
better make sure I rip the paper out before I use it from now
I'm
on.
not even joking.
It's a pretty old-fashioned technique, but even the classics can be surprisingly useful sometimes.
This is true.
Oh, and I should also mention, I found the notepad on the desk in Makoto's room.
Huh?
Which means only someone who had been in Makoto's room before the incident could have written it.
Then either it was Makoto who lived there, or Sayaka who switched rooms for a single night.
So, Makoto, did you write this?
No, I didn't. But
Of course you didn't, because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature. Sayaka's signature.
You can definitely see it on there too. That note, Sayaka wrote it.
but why? Why would she write that?
The note was likely her way of getting in touch with a certain someone. She must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet with them in secret.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation, what young man could resist?
Of course, I'm only into 2D, so it wouldn't have any effect on me.
Uh-huh.
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they are at all involved in what happened.
Huh? What makes you say that?
Oh, they're
Would
involved.
you like to hear what I have to say? Very well then. Pay attention.
Debate time.
Let's go. Dorm nameplates. Okay.
Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct?
Yes.
But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says, my room.
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in. So in other words, even if someone did read the note and did what it said, they would not have any connection to what happened.
It certainly would seem that way.
Okay, the killer went to my room instead of Sayaka's. And the reason for that is... It had to be because of what got switched between mine and Sayaka's rooms.
Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct? But in the note,
Yeah.
the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says my room.
Yes.
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Exactly.
The room that Makoto...
That.
No, that's wrong.
Break. I feel like a genius. I know I've done it before,
Nameplates
but I
on
feel like a
and
genius.
Sayaka's rooms got switched.
Good job.
They got switched?
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves.
Are you all blind like we are?
As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room
Did you not
actually
see
had
that?
Makoto's name. And the nameplate on Makoto's room had Sayaka's.
That moment when the
you're
blind
saying
people are
is
the ones
the
that
room
see
Sayaka
all the
was
details,
staying
and the
in
sighted people are like,
was
well, huh?
actually marked as her room.
Yep.
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up at
Oh,
Makoto's
shit.
room where Sayaka was.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem.
Yeah, that'd be simple.
And fool
Why
everybody.
are they
Who switched the
switchable?
names was... Well, of course it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
Right? Okay.
Because Monokuma
then
said so?
Who did it?
Here we go. There's only one person who could have switched the nameplates. The only other person who knew we had switched rooms.
Killer, me, or Sayaka?
That would be Sayaka.
Indeed.
Me and Sayaka were the only ones who ever knew about us switching rooms.
Indeed.
So the only other person besides me who would even know to switch the nameplates was Sayaka.
You can also infer as much from her note.
Alrighty. There's something I want to talk to you about. Just us two. In 5 minutes, come see me in my room. Check the nameplates to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay? Very
She
insistent.
specifically
Like,
tells
that's a
the reader
weird
to check
thing
the
to add.
nameplate. She would only have written that if she knew the nameplates had been switched.
Yeah, because that's weirdly specific otherwise.
Why would she switch them in the first place?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact that it was Makoto's room.
Frame him.
Yep.
Inviting
Because if
someone
she
to
succeeded,
your
she would have
room,
switched
but
them
not
back.
telling them you'd switched rooms.
Probably, I would
Why would
assume.
anyone do that?
To understand that, we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into the room. That's where the answer lies.
What happened then was probably whoever she invited over came in and attacked her. We figured it out. We know who did it. Whoever she invited over is the culprit.
But we still don't know who it is, you goddamn idiot.
I was gonna say, that's not really a
Sayaka
who.
fought with her killer there in the room, yes? Perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial struggle.
Yes, I think you're right.
Then... we just have to figure out what happened during the fight, right?
That reminds me. There was a replica sword at the murder scene. Was
Indeed.
that perhaps used during the fight?
Oh yeah. What's the deal with that sword?
Sayaka suggested I
It
should
sheds.
hold on to it.
It
I
does.
thought it might come in handy
A lot.
if I had to defend myself. It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist.
How the hell could you possibly know that's what broke her wrist?
The reason I know Sayaka's wrist was broken, with the fake sword is because when you look
It
at her
sheds.
wrist, there's no doubt. Let's find her wrist. Right there.
Sayaka's wrist.
I got it!
All you have to do is take a good look at her broken wrist, and it should become pretty clear.
Yeah, there's gold on it.
Right there where her wrist is all swollen.
Yep.
There's something glittery there. See?
That looks like a very unfun bruise
gold?
also.
It sure is. Specifically, the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist because...
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword, right there on her wrist!
Correct.
I see. And so the truth draws ever closer.
All right, then it's about time to solve this mystery.
What happened in my room? And what led to Sayaka's death? That's what we need to make clear.
There's a bit more to learn about non-stop debates. Would you like to hear more?
It doesn't end. They just keep throwing stuff at me.
They do. Are you getting used to these non-stop debates?
Yeah, it's fine.
Starting with the next debate, I'll start loading multiple truth bullets into your truth cylinder.
Alrighty.
But just like with the weak spots, only one of those bullets can actually refute the proper statement. In other words, from here on out, you'll have to combine the right truth bullets with the right weak spots to refute each statement. If you come up with the wrong combinations, you'll take damage to your influence gauge.
I feel like future ones are going to take multiple attempts.
They may. You can press the Q key to rotate the cylinder and choose which bullet to fire. Press and release the Q key to cycle through each bullet. Or you can use the mouse wheel.
Using the mouse wheel, from what I recall, was awful. I'm not doing that. I
believe so, yeah.
It sounds great, but every time it switches to a new statement, it scrolls right back to the top. And that's unhelpful when it takes time for you to read.
No kidding. By the way, if the logic difficulty is set to kind, fewer bullets will be loaded into the cylinder.
Hooray!
They are set to kind, I believe.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Yeah,
For our purposes, this time the logic difficulty will be set to mean. So it's gonna just throw more at you for now, just for this one.
Fair enough. Yeah, because, like, I believe our logic was set to kind and our action was set to gentle.
Yes, I think that's right. Well then, good luck and have fun.
Okay. Replica sword, kitchen knife set, and replica sword again. Okay.
When the fighting
One's
broke
probably
out,
the sword sheath.
Oh, yeah.
the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt.
Yeah, it is.
A sword-based sneak attack.
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist.
So, she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
But then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened.
If the person with the sword really did attack first, there's no explanation for how a certain part of the sword got damaged. So is it the sheath here?
I think it is the sheath on the sneak attack.
The first blow was dealt.
Gotcha.
Sword-based sneak attack.
Let's try it.
No, that's wrong.
Got it.
And break.
Actually, no. I don't think the fight started with the sword.
Why not?
Because the sword sheath had been scratched. See?
Alrighty.
There's a gash in it. Like someone cut into it with something sharp.
Something
Like a
sharp.
knife?
Yeah.
You mean like the kitchen knife? That was the only sharp thing found at the scene.
I guess I'm Chihiro today.
Stop jumping ahead. Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath. If you were going to attack with the sword, you'd take it out of the sheath first, right?
Yeah, so she
true.
used it to defend
With the
herself.
sheath on, it'd be heavy and bulky and useless as shit.
Okay, so how did
Or
the
no,
sheath
she
get
didn't.
damaged?
If they
Somebody
got attacked
did.
with the kitchen knife, maybe they grabbed
Because she's the one that
sword as a
had the knife at
defensive
first,
impulse.
so she wouldn't have been the one to use the sword to defend against the knife.
In that
That is
situation,
correct.
there wouldn't be any time to actually
I had
unsheath
it
the
backwards
sword.
for a little bit.
Well, so do they. You're not
So
supposed to get
you're
theirs just
saying
yet.
The sword was initially used to defend against an attack from the knife.
Which means whoever had the kitchen knife was the one who attacked first.
There it is.
I think I get it.
Which was
So here's
Sayaka.
how it all played out.
Yeah.
The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there somewhere. Then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka before she knew what was happening.
No, not quite.
So she grabbed the sword to defend herself. But then the culprit took that from her too.
No, not quite.
Then, after they broke her wrist with the sword, they took the knife and finished it.
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka used the sword to defend herself.
What? How the hell can you not think that?
Because she never held the sword at all. There's a certain part of her body that makes this clear.
Certain part of her body? The part of her body that shows she never used the sword. If you want to use the sword, which part of your body would have to touch it?
Her stomach, her broken wrist, her palms.
It would be her palms.
I got it!
There was no glitter there.
You're talking about her palms, right?
I mean, glitter is great and everything, but dang.
The palms of her hands were perfectly clean.
Yep.
So I don't think she ever picked up the sword.
How can you know that just by looking at her palms?
Like I said before, the gold coating on that sword comes right off. All you have to do is touch it. In fact, if you look, you'll notice that a lot of the gold has already come off the handle.
Yep.
It's safe
And some
to
on the
assume
sheath as well.
That's because whoever used the sword got some of it on their hands. There's really no way she could have picked it up and come away completely clean.
So can we catch them gold-handed?
She washed her hands after she escaped into the bathroom.
Sorry.
That
but
wouldn't
I don't
explain her
think so.
wrist, though.
Why do you say that? Is it because you think I'm ugly?
Also, it was nighttime.
That's not it at all.
There's no way Sayaka washed the gold coating off her hands because there's a certain regulation that talks about what happens to the bathrooms at nighttime.
The water was off. She's afraid of water. Water can't remove it.
I got it.
Yes, it
I am
was
just like
nighttime.
I am getting ahead of everything.
According
like
to the
I'm
Monokuma
like
file,
giving everything away. I'm
Sayaka's time of
sorry.
death was around 1:30
You
a.m.
totally are. And I thought you said
In
you
other
didn't
words,
remember this.
At nighttime.
I thought I
And
didn't,
the water in
but
the
I'm just like
bathroom
piecing
shuts
everything
off
back
at
together.
nighttime, right?
Oh,
That's
I didn't
fair.
know that. Actually, I haven't taken a shower here yet.
Oh my.
You're no different. You smell like a big fat ugly donkey.
Hmm? I'm not sure whether to take that as an insult or a compliment.
It's an insult, bud.
An insult, obviously.
So anyway, if Sayaka never touched the sword, then that means the killer is the only one who used the sword. But hold on. If that's right, Then the one who damaged the sheath with the kitchen knife was...
Are they finally getting somewhere?
Okay, the one who damaged the sheath would have had to have been the one without the sword, which
Killer
means
or Sayaka?
it would have been Sayaka.
Must have been.
Because she had the knife.
I got it!
Sayaka? She had the kitchen knife?
But
Yeah.
we already said that the attack started with...
The person with the knife attacked first, and the sword was used as an impromptu defense.
Then the one who attacked first was...
Sayaka?
Now do you understand? She wasn't a blameless victim in this.
No, far from it. It's almost as if she'd been planning to commit a murder of her own.
There they
Took
go.
the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to the room she was staying in. And if it's true that she had the kitchen knife and attacked without provocation...
It's all coming together.
Yep.
Indeed. These are all the actions of an assailant.
Which brings up another point. Makoto, Sayaka was the one who suggested you two switch rooms, correct? Maybe the reason she wanted to switch rooms was so that she could pin the crime on you. That is a possibility, is it not?
Exactly.
Sayaka wanted
Yep.
to... on me?
Yep.
That would also explain why she would switch the nameplates.
But that would mean she'd be
She
condemning
wanted to
everyone
get
else,
whoever she
too.
had targeted to come to Makoto's room where she was staying.
Yeah, she was. She did not
And
care.
by committing the murder there, instead of her room, that would implicate Makoto. But for that to work, the target had to be lured out while still keeping the room swap a secret. If the target knew she had switched rooms, they would have become suspicious right away.
So all that's why she switched the names?
But doesn't that plan seem a little risky? For one thing,
It's a lot
even if
risky.
her plan worked, Mr. Naegi would just tell everyone they'd switched rooms.
Nah, he was
I
too
don't
whipped.
know. I'm not sure our soft-hearted Makoto is capable of that kind of cutthroat behavior. I'm sure Sayaka realized the same thing, which is why out of all of us, she asked him to switch rooms.
Plus, she was the ultimate pop sensation. A totally forgettable kid. Or a national superstar. Who are you more likely to believe?
Wait,
Jeez.
then you're saying she had this all planned out?
Holy
Sure
shit!
did.
She's
But
sneaky,
in the
though.
end, her plan backfired. She launched her attack with the knife, then found herself under attack in turn. That must be when her wrist got broken, and she was forced to drop the knife.
The tables were suddenly turned on her, and she died at the hands of the one she'd planned to murder.
Just hold on! That can't be true!
It's unfortunately true,
Because-
my guy.
Because...
Hey, hey! You guys have totally derailed the argument. You're being super boring right now. Come on, hurry up and decide who did it.
Sir.
Get back on track, you
Awful
guys.
if I had to punish you all just because you ran out of time.
Oh yeah, we gotta decide who we think did it.
Don't bore the bear.
Makoto, right now you just need to concentrate on figuring out the answer to this mystery. If we can't uncover who murdered Sayaka, it's over for all of us.
Yeah, it's not great.
Then can you give us the answer already, Kyoko?
I know,
No.
right? Next time on Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc.
You mean the burnt shirt piece I found laying on the ground by the incinerator, right?
As the killers stabbed Sayaka, they must have gotten some of her blood on them. And to dispose of the shirt covered in the victim's blood, they threw it into the incinerator.
Didn't go over that well, though.
But one piece burned off and got left behind.
And the killer didn't notice. If they had, they most certainly would have panicked.